What's up, and welcome back to Nowstalgia Pod, your weekly look at what's going on in pop culture. My name is Pat Sheen. I'm here with my co-host Dave Martinson. Dave, I almost made it into the R. Kelly episode, dude.
Wait,
Fucking,
and he's
I'm like almost in my closet.
I get it.
Fucking, we're trying to bring you the best quality pod we can, and to give us a shout out, please subscribe somewhere below here. But yeah, so
It's the bottom right if you're on YouTube. Please subscribe.
Listening back to last week's episode, you can definitely hear some of the cars going by. My apartment is right next to a main road in the town that I live in, and there's not much I can do to cut down the noise unless I go like deep either into my closet or like in my bathroom next. So
yeah, it's tough. It's if you're interested in the troubles of audio, please reach out to me in any way you want, because it happens to me every week. My great equipment fails me. So we try. If you listen and you think it sounds like shit, well, we're doing our best.
Give us a break every once in a while. But we got a couple things to talk about today. Grammys came out, or the nominations came out. Yeah. We're going to be talking Easy
surprisingly positive.
Yeah, we're going to get to it, so don't tip your hand too much. Easy Season 2 came out as well.
Predictably positive.
Yes, and Lady Bird. Very positive.
100%.
100% positive. So why don't we start with the Grammys here? So what Grammys is this going to be? Does anyone even give a fuck?
The number? I do not know the number.
Let's 60? See.
I don't know.
Yeah, 60th. Wow, 60th Grammys. Came out and, like you said, fairly positive.
Yeah, agreeable, I think you could say, There's always going to be a snub, something you're not going to agree with, but it's nothing like outrageous. Like last year, DJ Khaled was nominated for Best Rap Album for Major Key. Can you name a song off that album?
No.
Exactly.
But I can say his phrases, another one. Or
they don't want us to win.
Major Key.
So we're going to win more.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting because your man Hove throwing up that dynasty sign, Dave.
Yeah.
8 nominations, leading the field. Did you think 444 would be leading the 60th Grammys in nominations after listening?
Yeah, if you think about it that way, was the overall nomination leader, in a year. There's no Katy Perry. She got totally shut out for the first time since we've known who she was. So
yeah, well, that album sucked.
It did. So I mean, I guess you got to think like would Lorde or Bruno Mars get more noms? But no, Jay-Z. I guess I can see it. It's kind
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh yeah, shit. Why didn't Kendrick get more? That's a good point.
He got 7.
And yeah, and Kendrick, like this is the year where every Grammy voter that didn't vote for him for Tim Butterfly, which he won a few awards that year, but like now, like, oh, we know who Kendrick Lamar is. Like, oh, check that box. They tell me he's good. Let me there's no secrets anymore about Kendrick, so you got to figure he's going to run away with most of the awards. But yeah, Jay-Z, interesting. I don't think he's going to win a whole lot of them if you look at each race.
No, I don't think so. But I think with the Grammys, we know that the people who should win don't always win. So I think the nominations matter almost more than
exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting. You mentioned Lorde and Melodrama, that she might have been the one who could have gotten more nominations or maybe deserved more. She wasn't even the most nominated female artist this year.
Who was it?
SZA.
Oh yeah, I'm happy she's getting attention. She'll probably win Best New Artist.
Definitely.
Multiple song nominations. Yeah, no, good for her. That's a great record, and really shows the benefits of tough love, because Top Dog and TDE were giving her a lot of shit for fucking up that album for like a year and a half, and then it turned out great early this year. So it's nice to see it, get recognized.
Yeah, I have a feeling SZA is going to be on a lot of year-end lists this year, which we're moving towards. Any notable snubs or anything that you wanted to point out with the nominations?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like up in arms about anything. Like last year, I brought up DJ Khaled before. That's because YG Still Brazy was totally shut out, which was laughable, especially given what got in its place. But I mean, this year, Ed Sheeran did not get Album of the Year. Childish Gambino's "Awaken My Love" snuck in there. So Ed Sheeran's relegated to best pop vocal album. But best pop vocal album, pop vocals really makes you think of Coldplay and Imagine Dragons, right? Because they both got nominated. It's pretty fucking stupid. I would have loved to see Dua Lipa in there, or even Demi Lovato, pop vocals, someone who actually sings good, but I digress.
Yo, I gotta say that Imagine Dragons got nominated for what, Thunder, for best pop duo group performance.
Their garbage record, like, so stupid.
Have you ever read the lyrics to that song? Like literally the last I don't know, 20 lines of that, like the lyrics are just lightning and the thunder.
I do give the Grammys credit though for knowing that it's all funny business, all made up anyway. Father John Misty is nominated for like best alternative, because they're just gonna give pure comedy the win because they don't want to give any other shit in that category or anything.
Well, I looking through that category, which I was like,
it's not as bad as the rock stuff.
No, the rock stuff was almost. I actually think
it's all dead people.
Honestly, I think that's probably the most stacked like rock category at this point. Like Everything Now, horrible fucking album. How that gets nominated for best alternative music album, I don't know. But Humans, American Dream, and Sleep Well Beast all could win that category. Yeah. Pure Comedy is up there too, but if that wins, I don't know. This doesn't make sense.
That's weird.
I don't know. Also, how about our man Bruno Mars getting that best album nom?
Yeah, I mean, so 24 Karat Magic came out like a year ago. They didn't forget about that, but which is great. Obviously, we love that album. It's like a tight 35 minutes, and it's awesome. As we've said before, check out the review, SoundCloud.com/NowstalgiaPod if you're really, really keen. But speaking of old albums that didn't get recognized, A Tribe Called Quest. Was it Thank You for Your Service? We got it from here. Yeah. From last year. Yeah, totally shut out. Nothing for Tribe. Q-Tip has been airing his grievances. He's really mad about it because they performed at the Grammys last year and that album was critically acclaimed. And you would have thought that it was kind of a shoo-in, if anything. I mean, last year, De La Soul's album, which was way less high profile, got nominated. But I mean, this year, best rap album, it's pretty strong. You mentioned Jay-Z, obviously Kendrick. Then from there, you get Tyler the Creator's Flower Boy, awesome for Tyler. Migos Culture, and Rhapsody, Lala's Wisdom, which is really surprising because Rhapsody is not famous and not well known. But yeah, that came at the expense of Tribe, which is kind of crazy in hindsight. But I mean, what do you think?
It's a great fucking album. The thing is, like, especially the rap categories are so stacked right now. I mean, I think we were talking before we recorded how Drake didn't even put his album up for nomination. So it's like, without Drake even putting it up there, what albums would have missed out if he was? So, it's the type of thing. They're always gonna have snubs. It's too bad it came at Tribe's expense because I really like that album. But I like that they're giving Rhapsody some shine. Might as well. It's also interesting, like looking through like Song of the Year. Like there's some that you would expect. Despacito. That's What I Like. But 1-800-273-8255. Your guy Logic.
Yeah. Well, remember, Song of the Year is for songwriting. Record of the Year is for performance. But still, yeah. I mean, that song was a huge smash, and I mean, Logic's mainstream now. Didn't really see it coming, but
yeah, I mean, there's some really, I think some really positives in this. I mean, the Grammys, which we said is like the least important of all the major award shows.
Exactly. I mean, we said it already. Drake didn't submit his album. He didn't submit Views. Last year, Frank Ocean didn't submit Blonde, which they would have loved to shower in acclaim. So when the people that you're supposed to be giving awards to don't care, especially the biggest people, it only means so much. But yeah, I mean, the nominations is kind of what people, get up in arms about. But I mean, Jay-Z, speaking of 444, the last time, this is his first album of the year nom, which is kind of nuts. He has had, a few good albums and he's been famous forever. But he last won Best Rap Album in 1999 for The Life of Times of Sean Carter, Volume 2. So I don't think he's going to get it this year because of Damn, but crazy that he hasn't won in so long.
18 years. People have been born and become adults in the time that
exactly.
he hasn't won.
Anything like Black Album, that should have won. It didn't, because that was the year College Dropout came out.
God, Kanye. Oh man, I am just waiting for that Kanye album just to come out of nowhere. Like,
yeah,
drop from the mountain that he's working on it on. Anyways, why don't we jump into Easy Season 2, unless there's anything else you wanted to shout out about the Grammys?
Shout out Lil Uzi Vert for Best New Artist. He won't win, but I'm happy he got noticed, because EXO Tour Life is my song of the year. Spoilers.
Random note, did you see the video that's out there today, all over Twitter and Instagram, of the people dancing to Bodak Yellow in the subway?
I did see that. That's fucking nuts.
Dude, that gave me so much life and hope for society in general. There was like old people, young people, every race, ethnicity, like hanging around dancing. It was pretty awesome.
And we'll talk about this way more in a few weeks, but that's the biggest case for Bodak Yellow as one of the top songs of the year, is that it's the biggest song in terms of like fame and the fact that people love it so much. And I mean, it's just empowering and uplifting to people. Shout out Cardi B.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's just, the song's undeniable too, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out Cardi B. She might be able to save our country. Anyways, jumping into Easy Season 2, Swanberg,
singular. One Swan.
Joe Swanberg. Easy Season 1 kind of came out of nowhere in 2015 and was a big hit.
15? Wasn't it last year?
Was it last year? I thought I saw 15.
It was like a year ago.
Was it last year?
Yeah, it was like September.
And what year are we in? I feel like I'm living in a bizarre world at this point. Going backwards. Anyways, Easy Season 2 dropped this past Friday. We decided we're going to talk about the first 2 episodes, but just to kind of give a brief take on Season 1, I think we both really enjoyed it. Thought it was a show that had an interesting perspective, interesting story. Season 1, you were a big fan, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you said Joe Swanberg. He's a really prolific, like, independent film director. He's made like 30 movies in 13 years. You know, not a lot of movies that are none of their blockbusters. They're all small movies with small budgets, but he's got a great relationship with Netflix now. And hence why I got this anthology series off the ground last year. And, you know, we've talked about it a little bit before, but just to rehash, it's set in Chicago, and it's just these stories of relationships and adult couples and, you know, city life and stuff like that. But I think what made Season 1 so charming and great, and why it's one of the most underwatched shows out there, is that there's no like catch. There's no genre to this movie. Yeah. There's the show. They're not all mystery episodes. It's not sci-fi or, you know, high concept. There's not even crime stuff. It's just stories, like anecdotes, you know? They kind of just jump around, and it's just really refreshing that there's no like take, you know?
Yeah, and it's diverse. I mean, they look at people of all different gender identifications, sexualities.
It's modern.
So it's just a really well done show. Season 2, episode 1, The Package Thief. This is they actually brought in some new blood. So when they showed the trailer, it was mostly the same people from Season 1. But to start off Season 2, they started with Aubrey Plaza, Timothy Simons, Joe Latruglio.
Yep.
I mean, quite the episode.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, it had one of my favorite quotes of the year, where Joe Latruglio out of nowhere is like, "He wears New Balance. He's a runner." I laughed really hard at that.
Joe Latruglio, like, quietly one of the funniest people in show business right now.
Yeah, like, I think he's a former that guy that we've since learned his name. You know, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he really broke out on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I feel like.
Yeah, he's in the Wet Hot revival as well.
Yeah,
he's everywhere now.
So yeah, basically this episode is around Aubrey Plaza and Lawrence Michael Levine. They're a couple living basically in suburban Chicago.
Yeah, like yuppie couple.
Yeah, a nice neighborhood. And they are part of this neighborhood community that's best neighborhood in Chicago or whatever. And then someone starts stealing their packages, and it kind of drives everybody a little bit crazy. And Aubrey Plaza gets is like resisting it, and then gets caught up in it. I mean, I don't think necessarily discussing the plot and like what happens is that important. But what did you take away from this episode? Like, what stood out to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, like most of season one, it's a very, very believable scenario. You know,
Yeah.
I've had an Amazon package stolen before. You know, I haven't seen the thief become a repeat offender like happens on the show, but yeah, it's instantly relatable. And in the case of this episode too, like you immediately understood Aubrey Plaza's character's POV, and you know, just kind of antagonist, if you will, against the neighborhood watch. But I didn't really see that ending coming.
No,
it's not like it's a huge like death or anything. Obviously, it's not what the show is about. But yeah, I didn't see the ending coming. And again, it like most of the show, it's just very expertly crafted.
Yeah, it was actually really funny. When I was looking up the episode, just like not even thinking about it, I just wrote in package thief into Google, and it actually came up with a video from today about this nanny in Seattle who caught this package thief by like confronting them. Basically what happened in the episode. So it was a realistic scenario, something I think a lot of people can relate to. Like you said, you know, it was funny. I actually thought Lawrence Michael Levine in this episode was like so perfect because he was so believable as just like just like a middle class working guy in like a tech firm or whatever. But then like how him and Timothy Simons and Joe Latruglio just like kind of went a little bit crazy and how they were approaching this thing and like fantasizing, like obsessing about it. It had me dying. And like they really like pulled off Timothy Simons, dude. I feel like he doesn't get enough shine. Like him as Jonah on Veep, and then like what he does here. He's a really phenomenal like comedy actor.
I mean, Latruglio had another good one too. He's like, he looks Hispanic. No, I'm not gonna race your way. I'm just saying, he kind of looks Hispanic. Like, oh no, you can't tell. Yeah, no. Like, it's like obviously there's these totally well-meaning people, and just like how they would talk and how they're so I wouldn't say PC, but they're so friendly and they're not trying to be offensive, but they have their point. Like, it's really good. So, and this first season of season 2, the one we just talked about, those were all new characters, no one we had seen before.
Right.
And then the second episode, it revisits one of the better episodes of season 1. And you know, before we get into it, I think this is actually a rare show where you can probably watch season 2 first, and if you like it, go back and watch season 1, and it'll serve as like flashbacks. If I guess, like, I think it can work in either order if you actually were that keen on doing it.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting point. I never thought about that, but yeah, I think if you're just jumping from the same characters, you can definitely just look back. But the stories work independently as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this episode had Michael Chernig and Elizabeth Reese as Kyle and Amy, and they're exploring an open marriage. This episode had me feeling incredibly uncomfortable throughout.
I think that was the point.
Yeah, and it was interesting because it was done so effectively, but like in the end, there really wasn't anything to feel that uncomfortable about. They were two consenting adults doing something that they both decided was best for them.
Right, and it didn't have a preachy conclusion. It wasn't like monogamy. It's what you do, you know? Like, it was just kind of like, like even the characters aren't really sure where they're at, and that's how it ends.
Yeah,
you know,
but
which I thought was really effective.
Yeah, it was all done like super respectfully of each other, and I really felt like it was interesting to see like how they both approached it and like the awkwardness that was between them with like, oh, so who are you texting? But like, it's your fucking spouse. Like, it was interesting because it also made me examine like why I was feeling uncomfortable and like my own feelings around it.
Yeah,
just a really smart show in general.
Yep, I agree. It's very good.
Yeah, I actually watched the third episode as well. Did you jump ahead at all?
I have not, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I will though.
I had to make myself slow down because it's the type of thing I could have just probably binged all 8 if I wanted to.
Yeah, 30-minute episodes too. You can do what you did to Master None season 1 and just gorge yourself.
Yeah, but
season 2,
trying to slow it down. So we'll probably catch up somewhere near the end when we're done. I don't know, maybe around like 7, 8.
Yeah,
finish the season.
Sure.
But send us your thoughts on Easy Season 2. You can tweet at us at Nowstalgia Pod, at Martin Swagger, and at Sheeny World Peace. Drop the O. You know, Joe Swanberg though.
Swan.
Joe Swan. Oh, fuck, Swanberg. Swanberg. That reminds me, is that Joe's name in fucking Family Guy?
Joe Swanson.
Swanson. Okay,
Yeah.
that's I'm like combining those two. Anyways, Joe Swanberg used to direct Greta Gerwig, the director of
Hey,
Lady Bird. Check that out.
how about that? Greta
Um,
Gerwig, first time director at that. Quite the opening, just like Jordan Peele and Get Out. The first film is amazing.
Unbelievable, dude. Quite a year for rookie film directors. So this is an A24 production, Dave. They can't miss right now.
A24 this year has distributed Good Time, The Florida Project, The Killing of a Sacred Deer from Yorgos, Lady Bird, and The Disaster Artist. Last year, they distributed and produced Moonlight, and they've been doing this for a few years now. A24 is the fucking shit.
Yeah, they're just right now they're unstoppable. They're finding good talent, good directors, and good stories, and executing it. So shout out A24, man. They might be like the winners of the year.
That's a good point. I think we'll talk about them for our best of the year, like trend takeaway episode.
Definitely. So yeah, this is a pretty good movie, Dave. Lady Bird. It's a story about a teenage girl and her relationship with her mother and her family as she becomes a young adult
Coming
heading
of
off to
age,
college. Yeah.
2002, Sacramento. Shout out, Mike Bibby. That's where you're at. Uh, yeah, no, I think it's just such a pleasurable watch.
Mhm.
And on the surface, it's a very simple premise. We've seen a coming of age movie before. You know, we've seen someone lose their virginity on TV before. Like none of this is new, but I think it's the direction, the acting, the script is just so immaculate that I mean, look on Twitter. How many people that went to Catholic school are so connected to this movie because of its portrayal of going to Catholic school when you're not really that into Catholicism? Like,
Mhm.
it's just, I mean, so many angles to love about this movie, which is why I think it rises above, despite being a movie that is quite small in scope and, you know,
Yeah,
simple.
that the scene with Lady Bird and her friend laying down eating the Eucharist.
Fucking awesome.
So fucking awesome. Yeah, no, it like paid attention to so many little details of it, like Saoirse Ronan. I'm not gonna say her name right.
Saoirse.
Saoirse
She did this in her SNL monologue. It's like inertia. Saoirse. Very easy.
Saoirse Ronan. She.
That was Leslie Jones.
I know. That was a joke.
Call back.
Saoirse Ronan. She didn't wear makeup for this movie. To like show off her blemishes, like those, it was like those little things. She actually looked like a teenager, and I thought it was so beautiful too. Like, and maybe this is jumping ahead a bit, but like they had like mirror scenes that weren't like in your face mirror scenes. It wasn't like this thing happened and they cut to that happening. Like for example, when the mom, played by Laurie Metcalf, is talking with the priest who was the director of the play, and how he's depressed. Right. And then there's the scene where Lady Bird and her first boyfriend, she says, "You're gay," and he just breaks down crying. She becomes so compassionate towards him. It's like these moments where they go from being these like hard people that you see all the time to like these really soft and genuine emotional like women, and like how they're so similar but like struggle to connect with each other on so many levels. It was really beautiful and well done. And I thought the story was simple but still pretty complex in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and like you said, the movie from the jump really just like it hooks you as a viewer, get emotionally invested in the plot. Again, simple plot, but by the end, like I thought it was a really really emotional ending. I was really into it, and yeah, I think a big part of that is the performances are fucking amazing. Like Saoirse Ronan is the darling of the Academy already. She's gonna get her third acting nomination, and she's this year, and she's only 23. But yeah, I mean, Laurie Metcalf, I mean, their chemistry, and for the plot's sake, the lack thereof, it really fuels the movie and really drives it. And, I think she was really good as well.
Yeah, and shout out Tracy Letts, because like I feel like without him, like their chemistry, the Lady Bird and her father, on screen,
Yeah.
the movie would have felt really contentious and kind of like uncomfortable to watch. But he brought a really like at ease feeling to the screen while also playing this guy who has like this dysthymic, affect most of the time.
Mhm.
Uh, Definitely really interesting. Shout out your man Lucas Hedges as well, playing Danny. It was interesting. So there's a story that when Greta Gerwig wrote this script,
Mhm.
she went to Lucas Hedges and was like, "You can play any male character you want," and he chose that one. She said, "Perfect, 'cause I actually wrote that for you."
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, this movie is a great show at the surface level. It's a great showcase for the next generation of Hollywood because we have Saoirse Ronan, 23, Lucas Hedges, 20, and Timothy Chalamet, 21. And Timothy Chalamet is obviously going to get a Best Actor nomination for Call Me by Your Name this year. So Lucas Hedges was nominated for Manchester by the Sea last year, and Saoirse Ronan has 2 other noms already. So it's just great collection of talent that a lot of people still don't know who they are.
Yeah, it's actually really, it's basically like just like a rookie all-star team in a way, because like you got Greta Gerwig, who's like announcing herself as like possibly the next great female director. She also was in Jackie last year, so it's like she's just a talent in and of herself. And then you have like Lucas Hedges, Saoirse Ronan, and like you said,
Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. It's like,
Little Timmy.
man, like I think people are gonna look back at this and be like, wow, those three like all in a movie together at that age, crazy.
Exactly, because soon you can't afford to have all 3 in the same movie.
No, definitely not. Yeah, it's weird to think about it that way, because I was thinking about it as like almost like a sports team, and this kind of works in the same way. Like eventually, unless it's like a huge budget movie, these guys aren't going to be able to actually be together. Like,
yeah, I mean, this reminds me, tangent a little bit, but this reminds me of the Stranger Things season 3 officially confirmed, no doubt about that. But it came out that the cast, all the main kids and Millie Bobby Brown, they're all going to renegotiate their salaries for season 3, and they all made $30,000 an episode. And then the question is, will Millie, the breakout star, negotiate separate from all the boys? It's like, man, these guys they're all so young, but they also have so much power that they can, get that bread.
Definitely. Yeah, Millie should, dude. She could probably get like 100K an episode or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. That's like Game of Thrones, but I mean, she could probably double it easily.
Right?
What's up? It depends. It depends who it is, but yeah, a lot of the main people of Game of Thrones are all a few 100,000. Yeah.
It's kind of keep going down like this like side road here. You hear Jason Momoa is gonna be playing the Crow?
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, and he also said that season 8 of Game of Thrones is gonna be the greatest piece of filmmaking ever known to man.
What the fuck does he know? He doesn't know anything.
I know. It's like, are you even gonna be on it?
He died in season 1, brah. Come on.
Right. Maybe he'll be
flashbacks.
Maybe he'll be like a White Walker. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like coming out of the ground where he was buried, like, or no, he was burned.
Yeah, he was burned.
No, it's not. You just see he's just was it gaslighting?
Yeah,
grandstanding, definitely. One of those.
So, anyways, to pull it back. So, Lady Bird. I mean, what did you have any scenes that really like stood out to you, or like kind of like you look back and they're like, wow, that was phenomenal?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I think when Lady Bird reconciles with her friend, I forget her name, played by Beanie Feldstein, who's Jonah Hill's sister.
Julie.
Yeah, Julie, right. When he reconciles with Julie, when she realizes that Chalamet is just kind of a douche. Yeah. And like, I kind of like, grows up a little bit. Really good. And then also, I mean, obviously not one of the best scenes, but I thought it was really funny watching her get drunk in college at the end.
Yep.
And I mean, there's just so much to latch on to. I mean, any scene really where she has a conflict with her mom, outstanding. And even the early Lucas Hedges stuff when it's just young love, that's really good too.
Yeah, there's 2 scenes that really stand out. It's the one when her mom finds out that she applied to the school in New York without knowing it, and then she's just like in the kitchen, like, I know I'm horrible, I know I'm bad, I know I'm terrible, like just screaming at her, and the mom
ungrateful. Yeah.
But then The other scene is like the final scene when she she calls her parents, leaves a voicemail, and it just shows her driving through um, Sacramento
Right.
without, in the same way that her mom does, basically, and just like how it, like I said, the parallels between like her and her mom throughout the movie they're not really like in your face that much, but they are just like subtly brilliant. It was a great movie. What do you think this is gonna get Best Picture nom? Like, no doubt, right?
Oh, nom, no doubt. I don't know if it's gonna win.
I don't think it will.
I mean, for winning, I'm just guessing. I mean, the odds change all the time. If you're interested in the odds, you can go to goldderby.com. That's where you can figure all this shit out. But I think odds, probably The Post with Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, because that's like fucking Spotlight 2.0 as far as an awards movie goes. Very prescient with journalists in this time. Also, Call Me by Your Name is just really heating up. Mm-hmm. So I mean, Lady Bird's like that. 100% Rotten Tomatoes should help it, and
Definitely.
it'll get a lot of nominations. I think Greta Gerwig should get best director nom, but yeah, if they're actually going to pick it to win, because it's kind of a simple movie, despite being a perfect simple movie, basically, it doesn't mean as much when you give it Best Picture, and that's what these things do. So it doesn't represent enough, unfortunately. But right now, it's one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie of the year. I saw it.
When is The Post coming out?
Good. The Post is like the very end. That's like fucking like Christmas weekend, like just the 22nd or something is when that comes out. It's like the last week, and that might not even be wide release. So this might be a movie that we don't even get to see until like January.
That and Phantom Thread, dude, could be coming up out of nowhere.
Exactly. So like they'll have their awards season push. Basically, those movies come out and they don't care about the year-end lists.
Right.
Well, actually, they don't care about our year-end list. All the publications got to see them at the premiere and shit, right. Presser and stuff. But we won't really be able to consider those. But even Call Me by Your Name, that doesn't get to Boston and for a full month after it went in limited release. And like Lady Bird, I got that like in one weekend after it was in LA. So some of these movies, they're just really slowing it down, the release. The Shape of Water from Guillermo del Toro is the same boat. So
yeah. That movie looks really interesting. I feel like I've seen the trailer for that 100 times in the past. Like
our guy Shannon.
Yeah, getting to cook a little bit.
Also, I gotta shout out Lady Bird at the box office because I saw it early on because it got to Boston quick, but it only went to wide release 2 weekends ago, Thanksgiving weekend, and it made about $4 million in like less than 1,000 theaters. This past weekend, it made like 4.5. It went up like 12% in its second weekend wide. So, I mean, judging off of past history, this is going to perform very well throughout award season. You look at like Hidden Figures, Moonlight, La La Land. Won't be La La Land, of course. They made a lot of money, but Oscar movies are just going to be a slow burn as the last few blockbusters come out, and then there's nothing in January. So you'll be hearing a lot about this. You're hearing about this movie for a while. So do your best to just see it now before anybody ruins anything for you, because it's really good.
Yeah, like if you just listen to our whole podcast and haven't seen it, and we ruined it for you, our bad. But why did you listen? Just come back later.
Like we have to give that like distinction at the end, but I really doubt anyone actually listens to us discuss spoilers that long. Like, come on. And again, like, why are you listening to someone talk about Lady Bird? You don't know about Lady Bird unless you've probably seen it already.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
It's in fucking Star Wars.
Well, dude, we're probably gonna wrap up here. A lot of music next week. Is that right? No, 2 weeks.
No, 2 weeks. The 15th. There's no real music of note this weekend. The Crown comes out on Netflix on Friday, season 2. If you're into that, I know my mom is. But yeah,
everyone's mom is. Yeah. I don't know. We'll find something to talk about. Maybe we definitely have to start figuring out how we're going to record our year-end list, but it's going to be hard because we have to record a little bit early. So it's going to be like, is Run the Jewels a 2017 album?
Oh, it has to be.
Right?
It has to be. I think, fuck, I mean, is anyone else going to consider it one? Or are they just going to just like, it's like the Grammys. The Grammy year is September to September. Then the awards happen in January or February. So if our year end is like December 15th, anything that comes out afterwards should go into the following year, right? That's the Run to Jewels thought right now. I feel like we have to consider it.
Yeah, I think we do, but man, it's gonna be tough to do these lists this year, I feel.
And because of the movies, like a lot of the best movies of the year, we will not see in 2017. We will see them in January.
Right.
When no one cares what we think of them on for a list in January. So I don't know.
Well, we'll be maybe we'll tweet about what we're going to be talking about next week. We'll figure it out off air. But until then, go to soundcloud.com/nostalgiapod, stay plugging, and give us a rating review on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, listen to us any way you want, pretty much, except for I don't know. You probably can't find us on the radio. But that's not what podcasts are.
We're not on your Telegram, but YouTube subscription, big help, please.
Yeah, pass us along too. We'd appreciate it. But yeah, it's been a fun discussion today. A lot of positivity. Hopefully we keep it going. Not a lot of positivity in these times, Dave.
No, we have to refresh after the Justice League review, which actually we're pretty positive in that too. So
yeah. Anyways, give us some feedback. We love you. Peace out.